So here I am, scrolling through a bunch of the different ideas that I've had for episodes or experiences, trying to find something to talk about, and there's so much. I find myself now overwhelming my mind with ideas that I can't, I'm not allowing myself to just enter the flow state and just say whatever comes to mind. So I guess that's what's coming to mind, is the flow state. What is it really? I sort of gave a great description of it actually in the video of Stop Speaking Yourself into Retardation, just about how I align myself with the message that I'm delivering. And that even right now, just having mentioned it, I've already entered into the flow state, and I can feel myself so blissful inside, so full of love, so full of joy, so full of enthusiasm, so full of that fucking let's go baby kind of energy now, all of a sudden, man. Because speaking for me is one of those things, it just, boom, you're in the zone now, kid, and it's time to play the game on a whole other level. And I know, well, maybe I'll mention a few things about myself later. But getting into the flow state, what is it? Why is it important? How do you do it? Well, what it is essentially a place of pure existence, of not thinking, of not judging, of not doubting, of just fully expressing exactly who you are in the moment of right now without any type of delay. It's just a bam! Here I am, Uncle Sam, green eggs and ham. To me, that's what it is, at least. That's how it feels, is it's just like, hey, I'm fucking here. I'm alive. I'm free. I'm breathing this air, baby, and it feels great. And I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep living free. Because there's no stress when you're in the flow state. Well, let me just define it like this. From my perspective, the flow state is just pure presence. Being here, being now, which is really the only place that there ever is, and the only time that there ever is, right? Time is an illusion. If you haven't caught on to that tip yet, you know what? I'll make a video about it, and maybe I'll tag it in this or something later in the future. But ultimately, time is an illusion, my friends, my brothers and sisters. And I'm sure that if you're someone watching the type of content that I release, you already know that, because I know for myself, I'm only speaking to the most advanced philosophical outlaws out there. The people who are ready to actually utilize the knowledge they possess, which is what power actually is, by the way. That's what it's gonna be. Gonna brush over the flow state quick, and then we're gonna talk about how knowledge is not power. Cliffhanger for you. So the flow state is essentially just living with life, and you'll actually feel it. So as I described it in the Stop Speaking Yourself into Retardation video, which is a great video about how the language that you use can either build the life that you want or destroy the life that you want. I highly suggest you go check it out. It's a very unique perspective of it. And basically how I describe it is that within yourself, it's almost as if there is this guiding compass where there's a central location or a central point, and then there's a side to the left and a side to the right. And when you're existing in the flow state, you stay right in the middle of good and bad. You stay right in the middle of light and dark. You stay in what some might consider to be a fifth dimensional perspective of reality. You exist outside of the duality in a sense, or in the middle of the duality in a sense, where you can see equally how both require each other for the sake of their own existence. And because of that, all things can be considered beautiful, all things can be loved. You can experience love regardless of what's happening in your life. So essentially, to me, this is what the flow state is. Now, how do you enter the flow state? Well, how do you fall in love with existing? That's the question. What is it that you unique, beautiful piece of cosmic art, what is it that makes you just, like you just took a cold shower or something and you shocked the whole body, you got some type of enthusiasm in you that you haven't felt since you were a kid or something? Like where does that come from for you? Is it sitting down? Is it playing guitar? Is it playing piano? Is it playing the drums? Is it playing? Like how do you play with life in a way that makes you excited to get up and you could just push aside everything and lose yourself totally in this thing for like 15 hours straight, and you're like, holy shit, I haven't even eaten yet. What is that thing for you? And this is one way to enter the flow state, right? Is to find those things that you love and to continuously do them. To play your instrument, to make the craft, to write your rhymes, to whatever it is. Because the more things that you do that you love, the more you're telling life that you love it. Because ultimately, there's no meaning to life. I'm sorry to tell you, but life is meaningless. In the most beautiful way, there is no meaning to life, and that it's meaningless. Because there's no objective. There isn't some end goal that the universe is unfolding to. It's just forever evolving, forever experiencing, which is amazing. Because that means that there's no end point. That means that you don't have to live a certain way. That means that you get to be free. That means that you get to experience. That means that you get to be wrong. That means that you get to make choices where you fuck things up so bad and you regret it. And you experience all that turmoil and then you evolve. You grow. You get to experience the love. You get to experience the bliss. You get to climb a mountain. You get to climb a tree. You get to eat the greatest food. And there's no point. There's no point other than just to live. Than to just be able to fucking live, man. Like, isn't that just so beautiful? That life isn't trying to take you someplace. And yeah, you could talk about destinies and such now, right? And like I talk about mine all the time, that I know I have come here for a reason. And for this reason to be fulfilled, there's a certain path that I have to follow. But see, here's the thing, is if you were to make the quality of life argument, it completely derails the, well, what about destiny? I thought you talked about the fact that you have this blueprint for your life and for your soul and for all this stuff. Well, if there's no point to life, how is it that you have a destiny or a purpose? See, this is where it gets a little intricate, right? And a bit more complex. Each one of us is unfolding in a unique position in existence, therefore experiencing a unique position in existence, which means that all of the influences that you have ever had, and oh my god, there's just so many ideas rolling to me now, it's ridiculous. I gotta make a note of this when I watch this again, that I want to make a video about how everything is one from a very unique perspective. Anyways, that's for me, for the future. So, where was I going with this? Yes, everything that has ever influenced you has molded you in a particular way. Everything has molded you to be exactly who you are today. In some way, shape, or form, it has guided you. And with that being said, with you having been guided to be the exact person that you are right in this very moment watching this video, you have a unique purpose at this very moment, which is to just be here, to just be watching the video, to just be having this chat with me about some cool stuff. to be realizing how amazing you are. Your purpose is the present. Because in the present is where all life is in the first place. If we're caught up in our heads about the past, if we're caught up in our heads about the future, then we can't exist in the moment that requires, how do I say, we can't exist in the moment. And it is the moment that requires our full attention. Like if you're with your children, for example, you know, you can't watch your children and keep them safe if you're texting on your phone while you're walking down the street with them. They could just run off into the street. I don't want to get too morbid here, but you see what I'm trying to say about this? There's a balance to be had of being aware of what it is that you actually have as an objective, which is to make sure that you walk down the street carefully with your child. But to also know that you have a life to live, that you have choices to make, that you have your own freedom. All of us are conditioned by the influences that we've experienced. And it does shape our perception to be entirely unique. Yes, there are 8 billion people on the planet, and every single one of our perspectives are unique. No matter how many things that we agree on, I can never see the world through your eyes, ever. And that is an amazing thing. It's a special thing. The difference of our opinions is so important. Why would you have to agree with everybody on everything? Man, I'm gonna get so deep on this channel about the bullshit going on in the world, man. Oh boy. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is, when it comes to living in the present and also having a purpose, when you realize that living in the present moment will automatically lead you to the greatest existence that you could possibly have, you realize that you get to just shed the layers of all of the crap and exist, and that is intertwined with your purpose. Therefore, your existence is already being guided by your blueprint, for example, if you want to use that language. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm explaining this clearly. Let me try it a different way. If you're continuously caught up in the past or the future, that means that you can't apply the entirety of your efforts to this moment, to this thing, to whatever it is that you're doing right here, right now. And if you can't apply your best effort to the right here, right now, whatever it is, say you're chiseling a statue, for example, the statue of the version of you that you want to look like in the future. Well, you've got the vision forward, you know, and your ability to look up and down and see the column, I guess, let's say, of your marble slab. But then you've got the past, which is over there, which is nowhere near where your marble slab is. And then you've got the future, which is over there, which is nowhere near where your marble slab is. And how do you think you're going to be able to carve this image or chisel this image into the marble to the best of your ability if you're looking way over your shoulder over there, if you're looking way over your shoulder over there, or if you're concentrated on chiseling? Man, I am seeing these cyber trucks everywhere now. How many videos is this where I'm passing by a cyber truck? Cool. Anyhow, where was I going with that? Basically, the point is, and you know, people could say, well, you got to plan for your future, you got to plan for all this. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't have to plan for your future. And this might seem hypocritical because I'm a guy who's planning out a campaign to build, you know, like I'm planning out the next 10 years of building a retreat center that's going to evolve into the new version of human society. Well, I'm planning that out 10 years ahead. But here's the thing, is that that's all unfolding in the present moment. I'm not placing myself out in the future. I'm placing myself right here, right now, to do the work that is being funneled to me by consciousness. I'm acting upon what is being given to me in the moment. And to the best of our ability, all of us are anyways. But it's just about whether or not you're getting caught up in your head about the past and this, and then bringing that into what you are doing at the very moment. Because if you're chiseling the marble, but then you're looking over in your past, well, now your chisel is being guided by the past, essentially, because you're not able to focus on the present. You see what I'm saying? Your purpose is fully intertwined with the present moment, with the flow state. So how do you activate it? Well, it's going to be different for everybody. That's something you got to explore for yourself, really. But I mean, if you're doing the things that you love, it'll come that easy to you. And the more that you do the things that you love, I mean, you can think about it like this too. If each day, say that you have 2 clear, giant cylindrical containers, and each day you get to take a black rock and you get to choose which container you're going to put this black rock into. There's one on the left, which is you choosing the stuff that you love, and then you either have the choice of putting the black rock into a container of not really enjoying life. Every time that you decide to go and put a stone into doing the things that you love, into that container of the things that you love, imagine that you did that for 100 days in a row to the point where there were no stones over in the other container. Over time, you're basically like, if you were to consider these containers your body, you're programming your body to then perceive reality as something that it loves to be in. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're going to be doing at that point, because the more that you begin to hone your ability to enter the flow state, the more that you hone your ability to maintain love, to maintain bliss, to maintain balance, your body is going to adapt to that change and begin to create situations around you and bring back to you those situations that allow you to maintain that state of being even more effortlessly. Because your body doesn't know the difference about whether or not you're working, or whether or not you're playing your guitar and loving it. Like, sure, there's going to be different reactions if you really love something and if you really hate something, but ultimately the body just knows movement. And it's the emotional attachment that we have to something that defines what something is and how it gets categorized in our subconscious, in our body. So if you can move in a way where you're continuously putting stones into programming that one container over there where it's stuff that I love all the time, your body's naturally going to just fall in love with life. And that's another way that you can continue to enter the flow state so easily. By just continuously choosing love, by continuously doing the things that you love to do every day, consistently doing it. And then, there's that bump in the road where, well, I don't feel like playing my guitar today, but I have to. No, of course not. There's so many points of view to discuss, right? And having a conversation with myself about it is a bit strange, because like all these different opinions pop up and I'm trying to, anyhow. But basically there's an argument too of, okay, well, if I want a six-pack and I dedicate myself, I give myself a year's time to give myself a six-pack, it's going to take consistent dieting, it's going to take consistent exercise in order for me to get that six-pack, obviously, right? So on the days where I don't want to work out, I have to do it if I want my six-pack, right? Not necessarily. For multiple reasons, actually. For one, reality. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, time is an illusion. So we think that we're passing through this fluid place, but really it's an infinite amount of present moments that are so closely locked together in frame rates, like a movie reel playing out, that it seems like it's so fluid together, but ultimately we're like Neo in the Matrix talking to the architect, where there's hundreds of different versions of us on the TV screen, and at every moment we're navigating through different versions of ourselves based on the energy that we're existing in. So I only got like 2 minutes left here. So if you're continuously choosing to exist in the energy of the highest and greatest version of you, and you know that that version of you has a six-pack, by continuing to create that energy in your everyday, regardless of whether or not you are working out every single day, you're going to be attracting that body to you anyways, because it's all energy, remember. It's not about having to be consistent in the sense of pushing yourself through misery to attain what you want, because then you're programming life to bring you more misery. The point is, if you are not feeling like doing the thing that you know will equal out to the results that you're looking for, it's about transmuting the energy back into the excitement about the exercise, about the end result, about all of that. So maybe listen to a motivational video. Maybe listen to your favorite fitness guru drop a couple gems on you, and then jump into it, you see. Because now you're not going into the exercise like, fuck, I don't want to do this, I really don't want to do this. Don't program yourself to hate it. Program yourself to love it. 20 seconds left. Well, I didn't exactly get to finish what I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of all over the place now, but I hope that you gain some great benefit. And yeah, cheers to you. I love you so, so, so much. I hope you have a fantastic day.